Beloved soul, pause. Take a breath. You did not stumble upon this message by chance. This is not an algorithm, not a coincidence. This is a divine interruption. You are being called, not loudly, not publicly, but with a quiet urgency that only your spirit could recognize. Because something shifted while you weren't looking, while the world kept turning, something around you and within you was being altered. Do you feel it? A restlessness you cannot explain, waking up heavy, even when you've slept for hours. Moments of silence that feel too loud. Opportunities slipping through your fingers without reason. Doors that were almost open suddenly, slamming shut. There is a reason, but it cannot be explained through logic. It must be revealed through spirit. Because what happened to you was not just emotional, it was spiritual. While you slept, beloved, while your defenses were down, an unseen hand reached into what was sacred. Not your bank account, not your house, not your possessions, but your destiny. And though your eyes did not see it, your soul already knows. That familiar ache, that tension behind your ribs, that strange shift in the atmosphere, it was not your imagination. It was recognition. Now, hear this. Heaven has been watching. Archangel Michael has been standing guard. Not in absence, in silence. And that silence was not neglect. It was preparation. Because someone, somewhere tried to interfere, tried to take what was sealed with your name. And this was not an accident. This was an invasion. You've probably felt the aftermath, the strange delay, the sudden absence of people, the conversation that died, mid-sentence. The opportunity that almost happened, then vanished. None of it was random. But listen closely now. What is marked for you in heaven cannot be removed by envy. What carries your spiritual fingerprint cannot be stolen, only delayed. And even then, only temporarily. Archangel Michael now steps forward. He speaks. I have seen what they tried to do. I witnessed the whispers behind your back. I saw the gathering of intentions cloaked in false concern. I heard the plotting of those who smiled at your face but spoke curses behind your presence. But the time of silence has passed. I now lift my sword. This is not a war you must fight, but you must be awake for it. You must be present for what heaven is unfolding. Because as you read this, something sacred is surrounding you. A spiritual covering is being extended over your life. Your mind may not understand it, but your soul is already responding. You don't need to chase what left. You don't need to run after the things that slipped away. They were never the true reward. They were only distractions. And what was taken is now being rerouted back to you with interest. But you have a role to play. Stay still. Stay silent. Not out of fear, but out of strategy. Your silence is not surrender. It is alignment. Your stillness is not weakness. It is recognition. Because heaven is not asking you to explain yourself. It is asking you to trust. Yes, there was a theft. But no, there will not be a loss. Because what they tried to touch was not theirs to begin with. And what they did not create, they cannot cancel. Let this settle in you. You are not a victim. You are a vessel. And the reason? The attacks felt so specificous because your purpose is precise. You were targeted not because you are weak, but because you carry light. And light disturbs what is hidden. Do not let your delays deceive you. Do not let your unanswered prayers become proof of absence. Because even silence is sacred. And in that silence, heaven was working. Heaven was documenting. Heaven was preparing a response. Archangel Michael speaks again. Do not fear their return. Do not be tempted by familiar hands. What left you was removed, not lost, and what is returning is sanctified. This is your turning point. But it is not loud. It is not dramatic. It is quiet. Sacred. Measured. You are being invited to walk differently now. Too. Speak less and perceive more. To respond only from the spirit, not emotion. Because this time, Not everyone who knocks should be let in. There are voices returning, some with apologies, some with false warmth, but not all are sent. You must discern, not from fear, but from knowing. Your peace is not passive. It is your posture. It is your signature. It is your shield. You are no longer here to explain. You are here to embody. And your presence, elevated, will speak louder than your words ever could. Let them wonder why you no longer respond. Let them question your quiet. Let them speculate in your absence. Because what's coming for Yah will silence every shadow that once dared to touch your name. Now type, I heard this for a reason, if your spirit feels the confirmation. And if you know this message is not random, if something deep within you is stirring, leave a comment, share this word, and subscribe for the journey ahead. Because this is not the end. This is the first page of your restoration, and heaven is just getting started. Child of light, you need to know this. What was done behind your back was never hidden from heaven, not for a moment. There was a night, maybe recent, maybe long ago, when you felt uneasy for no clear reason. You brushed it off, told yourself it was just exhaustion or overthinking. But your spirit, it already knew. Because while your body rested, while your voice fell silent, others were speaking for you, about you without your knowing. And they weren't just speaking opinions, they were forming agreements. Agreements not rooted in love, but formed in envy. And the words they spoke, even in passing, even in pretend concern, carried weight in the unseen. They tried to alter something that was never theirs to touch. They attempted to shift a timeline sealed by heaven itself. But they forgot one thing. God hears what man whispers. And what heaven hears, heaven answers. Archangel Michael saw it all. He witnessed the gathering. He stood silent, not out of weakness, but out of measured response. Now he speaks. Their words did not go unnoticed. Their hands moved in shadows, but my eyes were upon them. They plotted around tables not meant for them, but their access ends now. Yes, beloved, they tried. They smiled in your face and questioned you in private. They praised you with one hand and poisoned you with the other. They pretended to support you while secretly hoping you would fail. They acted shocked when doors closed on you, but deep down, they celebrated the silence that followed. But listen carefully. None of it escaped divine. Notice, none of it will go unanswered. You wondered why certain people began to drift away, why their energy changed, why communication faded without conflict. That was not rejection, but it was revelation. Heaven began pulling away what you would not release. Because where you are going, you cannot carry the weight of Thasuhu or secretly praying for your collapse. Their exit was not a punishment. It was a promotion. The path ahead is narrower, but cleaner, and that is mercy. Because you are being positioned for something pure. And what is pure cannot share space with what is poisoned. You do not need to mourn their departure. You do not need to chase them for clarity. Their silence spoke truth long before their words ever could. And now begins the revealing. The curtain is lifting. You are about to see people as they are, not as you hoped they would be. This will sting, but it will not destroy you. Because you are being led into a season where discernment is your shield, not suspicion, not paranoia, but divine clarity. Archangel Michael speaks again. They misread your stillness as defeat. They assumed your silence was weakness, but it was wisdom. And now they will watch as heaven rewrites what they tried to ruin. Yes, your timeline was tampered with, but heaven has access to the original scroll, and the edits they attempted, they're being erased even now. You will feel it. Subtle shifts, rearranged conversations, unexplained peace, openings that come without effort because they are not man-made. This is not payback. This is placement. You are not stepping into revenge. You are stepping into right alignment. Because the fight is not about your past. It's about your future. And that's why they tried to derail it before you got there. That's why you felt strange warfare in moments. That should have been peaceful. Why rest felt restless. Why progress felt pressured. But all along you were being protected. Yes, it felt like delay. Yes, it felt like abandonment. But it was never either. It was insulation. The deeper the call, the more deliberate the preservation. And yours, beloved, is deep. This is why the attacks felt personal. Why the betrayals hit differently. Why the setbacks seemed surgical. Because your purpose is surgical. It cuts through illusion. It unsettles mediocrity. It disturbs every environment not aligned with truth. You are not ordinary. And the battle reflects that. But so does your covering. Because now, heaven is moving. You are not being called to fight. You are being called to stand still. You are not being summoned to retaliate. You are being summoned to watch. And what will unfold will silence everything they tried to stir. Now hear this. You will see faces return. Old connections will reappear. Familiar voices will try again. Some will come with apologies. Others with curiosity. But you must not rush to respond. Not every apology is sincere. Not every reconnection is reconciliation. Some are simply reconnaissance. They want to know what God has been doing in your absence. They want to measure how much favor survived the fire. They want to see if the glow you now carry is real. Let them wonder. Let them reach. But stay anchored. Because your next season is not about proving anything. It's about walking in everything heaven already proved. Type, I will not chase clarity. If this resonates with your spirit, let heaven mark your agreement. Let your silence thunder louder than your pain ever did. Because, beloved, the very ones who questioned your strength will now question how you made it. And your answer won't come through your mouth. It will come through your movement. Your presence will say what your words no longer need to. And the shift that once confused you will now confirm you. This is what it looks like when heaven takes notice. And heaven, beloved, has been watching the entire time. Chosen one, there is something sacred I must tell you. But I must tell it slowly, because your spirit already knows. But your mind is still catching up. This battle, you're in, it's older than your memory. Older than your disappointments. Older than your awareness. You didn't start it, but you are the one anointed to survive it. This was never just about what you lost. This was about what you carry. What you carry threatens what was built in shadows. And so they moved. They moved in silence. They smiled while they moved, but their intention was not support, it was sabotage. They tried to intercept the scroll. They reached into a timeline that was never theirs. They touched what was sealed before you were born. And now they are watching as heaven rises in defense. Not with noise, not with chaos, but with perfect precision. Because when God defends, he doesn't need volume, he needs alignment. You are not being punished. You are being positioned. You are not being delayed. You are being defined. They thought they could rearrange your future, but they forgot. Heaven never throws away the original draft, and what they tried to edit, heaven is restoring line by line. Now hear this. Your weeping was not in vain. Your ache was not useless. Your confusion was not wasted. Every tear you cried in silence watered the very ground your destiny is now rising from. You are not late. You are right on time for what cannot be denied. Archangel Michael speaks. They attempted to interfere with what they could not interpret. They touched a blueprint their hands were never anointed to handle. But I was watching, stood between what they touched and what they could never destroy. Now I restore was disturbed. Yes, this is restoration. But not just of things. Not just of people. Not just of opportunity. This is the restoration of divine order. What was twisted is now being straightened. What was misaligned is now being rethreaded. What was delayed is now accelerating. You are walking into the part of the story that was almost erased. But almost is not absolute. And heaven never forgets what hell fears. There is a shift happening even now. Can you feel it? A deep stirring. A quiet pulling. A soft ache that says, something is coming, and this time it will not pass you by. That is not anxiety. That is prophecy awakening. They called your silence failure. They called your stillness surrender. But God called it wisdom. You have been hidden, but not to be forgotten, to be fortified. Because what's about to rise through, Yah will shake the same systems that tried to suppress you. Let this be clear. This is not about revenge. This is about revelation. You are not called to shout. You are called to shine. The same rooms they tried to keep you out awful now request your presence. And you will not enter timid. You will enter transformed. Because favor does not ask for permission. It arrives with authority. And that authority now rests on you. They whispered. They waited. They wondered when you would break. But instead, you began to bloom. Now, listen, this is important. You will soon be approached. People you thought forgot, you will remember your name. People who doubted you will want access to you. But not all return is restoration. Some apologies are strategies. Some compliments are manipulations. Some opportunities are old traps wrapped in new language. You must discern, not from fear, but from alignment. Archangel Michael warns, not everyone smiling carries purity. Not every extended hand was sent. Watch with your spirit. Move with your peace. Do not go where your soul begins to shrink. You've grown. You've shifted. And now, certain spaces no longer fit your calling. You are not obligated to stay where your light is dimmed. You are not responsible for explaining what God has confirmed. Your assignment does not require approval. It requires awareness. And right now heaven is expanding your awareness. So let them ask. Let them wonder. Let them observe your silence. Because what's coming next is not subtle. It is sacred. It is loud in the spirit. Even if quiet in the flesh. You will be seen. You will be remembered. You will be honored not by force, but by fulfillment. Now type, heaven kept the original. If this truth resonates in your soul, let it be your agreement. Your quiet declaration. Your signal of alignment. Because what you are walking into, not just a new season, it is a divine correction. Heaven is making it right. Heaven is putting it back. Heaven is revealing what was concealed. And you, beloved, will not have to perform. You will only need to be present. You are the fulfillment. You are the scroll unrolling. You are the answer they did not expect to see again. So walk not with fear, but with fire. You are not being followed by loss anymore. You are being pursued by restoration. And the scroll they tried to rewrite is now being read aloud in heaven's courts with your name on it. Precious one, you may not remember the exact moment it happened, but your soul does. There was a shift. Subtle. Silent. Sudden. It didn't make noise. That didn't come with a sign. But from that point on, you were never the same again. Something inside you awakened. And though nothing around you immediately changed, everything within you did. You began to sense things more deeply. You started to notice who truly saw you and who only wanted access to you. Environments that once felt familiar suddenly felt foreign. People who used to comfort you started to drain you. And yet through all of it, you kept walking. But not because you understood, not because it felt easy. You kept walking because something sacred was pulling you forward. Now I will tell you why. Because the moment you awakened was the moment heaven enforced the covenant on your name. Not just a blessing, not just protection, but a divine agreement. And no matter who tried to interfere, no matter who spoke against it, plotted in secret, or placed hands where they should never have reached, the covenant stood. You were never meant to be broken. They may have tried. They may have whispered lies, sowed doubt, even cast shadows into rooms you hadn't yet walked into, but they forgot one truth. You are sealed. and what is sealed by heaven cannot be shattered by earth. Archangel Michael speaks again. The attempt was real, but so was the covering. I stood between the weapon and your worth. I shielded the parts of you even you couldn't see, and now I clear the path. Yes, the betrayal was felt. The delay was real. The heaviness wasn't imagined, but so was the protection. So was the silence that kept you hidden from harm. So was the stillness that preserved your promise. They may have thought they touched your destiny, but they touched only the edges. The core was never accessible. It was held in the hand of God. Now listen closely, because restoration is beginning to reveal itself, not as a loud announcement, but as a slow unveiling. And the unveiling brings changes. You will begin to feel discomfort in rooms that once welcomed you, not because something is wrong with them, but because something is rising in you. It is the weight of what's returning. It is the pull of your next assignment. It is the echo of heaven saying, move forward. Without explanation. There is no need to announce it. There is no reason to explain. There is no benefit in convincing others of what heaven already confirmed. Your silence now carries more power than your words ever did. And soon what emerges from your life will quiet every false narrative spoken in secret. Let them speak. Let them wonder. Let them sit with the mystery of your transformation. You do not rise with bitterness. You do not glow out of spite. You rise because you were always meant to. You glow because no shadow can dim what God has lit. And the whispers they released into the atmosphere, they are now being swallowed by your radiance. Archangel Michael whispers again. They reached for your light without reverence. They tried to interrupt a scroll not written by their hand. But now I enforce what heaven always knew. You were refined, not ruined. This is why the tests intensified. This is why the pressure increased. Not because you were weak, but because your spirit was stretching to hold what's returning. This is not about returning to normal. This is about walking in new weight. You are being shifted from tolerated to trusted, from overlooked to overshadowed by glory. But here is your instruction. Guard your peace, not because it is fragile, but because it is holy. Your peace is not passivity. It is posture. It is discernment. It is your signature in this season. And not everyone is meant to carry access to it. Some will return with apologies. Others with curiosity. Some with flattery, wrapped in concern. But not all are sent. Listen with your spirit. Respond only when led. Protect your atmosphere. Because what's arriving now is heavier than anything you've held before. It carries authority. It carries confirmation. It carries recompense. And heaven will not let it rest upon a distracted soul. You've been through fire, but the fire did not burn you. It branded you. Vale walked through silence, but the silence did not reject you. It refined you. And now the weight of what you carry is becoming visible. So breathe and say it with me. I am rising from what should have broken me. Say it until your spirit agrees. Say it until your soul aligns. Because this is the moment. Everything shifts. What was buried is blooming. What was stolen is returning. What was questioned is now confirmed. You are not waiting to become. You already are. Now type, I was refined, not ruined. If your spirit knows this word is yours, let your voice echo into the same realm that tried to silence you. Let them know you are no longer explaining. You are embodying. You are the prophecy fulfilled in silence. And the ones who doubted will now have to wonder how. Not because you told them, but because your presence says, enough. Dearest soul, there's something you haven't been told. Not because it was hidden from you, but because heaven was waiting for the right moment to reveal it. And that moment is now. Yes, what was taken is on its way back, but it will not return the way it left. It is not coming back in fragments. It is returning full, amplified, purified, and sacred. But here is what no one has told you. before it eredes you, must release what remains. You must unclench the memory. You must surrender the ache. You must let go of what you almost received, because heaven cannot pour into a soul still holding the weight of yesterday. You are not called to carry old echoes. You are not designed to. Walk forward with yesterday's silence still ringing in your ears. What's ahead requires both hands, and both must be free. Archangel Michael speaks now. The return has already begun, but you must make room. Do not carry the hunger to explain. Do not cling to the desire to be understood. The proof will not come from your words. It will come from what rests on your life. This, beloved, is not just about receiving. It is about stewarding. You are not being prepared for a moment. You are being prepared for momentum. And momentum is not gentle. It requires clarity. It demands focus. It resists confusion. You cannot carry sacred weight while entertaining what once wounded you. Let it go. Let go of the urge to revisit conversation that never gave you closure. Let go of the need to revisit hands that once reached only to take, because not all who return are redeemed. Some come back only to observe. Some come back because they sense your eyes. Some return not to reconcile, but to remain close enough to disrupt. And you, beloved, are no longer at the mercy of proximity. You are led by peace, not emotion. You are led by spirit, not sentiment. And the spirit is saying, let it fall away. Archangel Michael warns, there will be movement around you, words wrapped in apology, attention disguised as concern, but discernment must be your gatekeeper. Not every return is divine. Not every kindness is clean. You have come too far. You have healed too deeply. You have grown too intentionally to now return to cycles you've outgrown. And yes, you will feel at that strange tension between what was and what is arriving. You'll feel the pull. You'll feel the ache. You'll wonder if you're walking away too quickly. But you're not walking away. You're being lifted because you've been found faithful in hidden places. You've been trusted in silence. And now you are being positioned in visibility. But not all visibility is sacred. Heaven is not exposing you to entertain the crowd. Heaven is revealing you because the time has come. Still, you must not reach back. You must not run toward the noise. You must not explain your silence. Your silence was never weakness. It was your womb. And now what was forming is about to speak for itself. Do not panic if your phone grows quiet. Do not be alarmed if familiar names grow distant. This is not rejection. This is the clearing. Because when sacred things descend, they demand space. And what's coming for you now is weighty. It is not just restoration. It is revelation. It is not just return. It is reign. You are not stepping back into what was. You are stepping into what was preserved. Archangel Michael whispers, you will soon walk in rooms you didn't apply for. You will be mentioned in circles your name was once removed from. But you must stay still. Do not rush to speak. Your presence will be louder than your defense. This is why you've been sensing the pressure, not because something is wrong, but because something holy is approaching. Your soul is expanding to hold what was once too heavy. Your spirit is stretching to carry what was once distant. You are not breaking. You are becoming. Now listen, this return is not subtle. It will not whisper. It will be seen. It will be undeniable. It will be radiant. But it will not feel familiar. Do not reject it just because it looks different. The promise is the same, but the packaging has changed. You prayed for restoration. Heaven is giving you refinement. You asked for what was lost. Heaven is giving you what was delayed. With interest. Now type, I release the echo. If your spirit feels this confirmation, let your surrender be witnessed in the realm that once tried to silence your sound, because you are no longer searching. You are now seen. You are no longer waiting for permission. You are walking in presence. And those who once counted you out, they will not just see you. They will witness you. So, stand still. Let them wonder. Let heaven work. Your only task is to let go, because the space you make will be the space heaven fills. And what comes next will not ask for your explanation only. Your readiness? Beloved one, you've crossed the line. Not one drawn in ink, but one drawn in the unseen. This is not just a new chapter. This is a new dimension. You are no longer standing on the edge of promise. You are walking inside it. And the shift isn't coming. It has already begun. Can you feel the weight easing? The veil lifting? The space inside your chest beginning to clear? That is not relief. That is release. What once held you back, emotionally, spiritually, silently, has let go. Not because it wanted to, but because heaven ordered it. The delay expired. The resistance broke. The cycle collapsed. And now, the unfolding begins. But not like before. Not as a flicker. Not as a maybe. This time it is undeniable. Archangel Michael speaks once more. You are no longer required to explain what you carry. You have been found faithful in the fire. And now, you will be trusted in the light. What was once blocked is now begging to open. What was once buried is now blooming with clarity. You were not forgotten. You were being fortified. Let this settle in you. Everything they tried to touch, the promise, the path, the scroll has now been sanctified through their failure. Because what they tried to bury has become your root. And from that root you are rising. Not in noise, not in performance, but in peace. You no longer have to announce it. Your stillness will say enough. You no longer have to chase validation. Your presence now speaks louder than proof. You no longer have to revisit wounds. Your walk carries wisdom. This chosen one is not a promotion. It is an ENTHRONENT. The space you're entering is not a platform. It is an altar. And it was prepared for you. Now listen carefully. In the coming days, you will see things rearrange quickly. Time will seem to fold. Doors will open that you never touched. Names will be mentioned where you've never been. But you must remain steady. Do not flinch. Do not explain. Do not panic at the sudden speed, because this is the evidence of heaven's alignment. This is what it looks like when the plan that always was begins to move with perfect timing. You are not a guest. You are fulfillment. You are the continuation of promises that began before you were born. And now the earth must make room for you. Archangel Michael says, do not return to prove. Do not speak to be heard. You have already been sealed in silence. This is not the season to knock. This is the moment doors open on sight. This is why you felt the fire. This is why the ache ran so deep. Not because you were being punished, but because what's rising in you required purity. You were not delayed. You were distilled. And now, what flows through you is clear. Untouched. Heaven backed. Let them wonder. Let them revisit the moments they misread your silence. Let them replay the times they assumed you were done. Because you are not returning, you are revealing. You are not performing. You are becoming. And you, beloved, are no longer waiting. You are walking into rooms that once locked you out, into assignments they said you weren't ready for, into blessings you thought were passed to someone else. But the truth is, they were preserved. And now they are presented. Not to your effort, but to your alignment. Say it softly with me. I am no longer waiting. I am walking. Say it again. Not for anyone else, but so your soul hears you. Because your soul has been waiting for you to believe it. And now you do. Now type, I'm walking in what was always mine. If your spirit agrees, let the unseen realm hear your agreement. Let heaven echo what you declare with conviction. Because this is not just a moment. It's a movement. and you are the proof. Now listen once more. Some will ask, how did it happen so quickly? They will say, last time I saw you, you were in silence. And you will smile, not to gloat, not to boast, but because you know the truth. Your silence wasn't inactivity, it was strategy. Your waiting wasn't punishment, it was preparation, and your comeback isn't loud, it's holy. Archangel Michael says, they watched you disappear, now they will witness your revealing. But your reward is not their response. Your reward is your reign. This is the shift, the final turn, the unveiling. The sacred is no longer hidden. The chosen is no longer silent, the prophecy is no longer pending, it is happening. And you are no longer asking if you're ready. You are walking like you are, because you are.